A tribe of flying creatures are at your ready to descend upon your opponents. Mana will be drawn from ancient stones to be poured into an elder of the air. He will provide knowledge and strength to all around him and grow stronger with his prodigies. And his pupils, in return, will grow to his power and their own as they test the limits of what they can truly accomplish. The origin of the Kangee Aerie Keeper deck was a free day over the summer. In the middle of August, I sat down in the mood to brew something unusual, and I took it to hit an EDH track to find out what I could make. Deep down the tribe list, I found one that was right up my alley. Birds. This was a tribe not overdone, but definitely underrated. This was a tribe that I could go back to time and magic from before I was born and grab spells and creatures people forgot about and make them viable. Then there's the political advantage of playing birds. People just love you for it. But birds are actually viable in Commander, as said before. They have all sorts of different, fun, and exciting effects. Starting into these birds, I must admit that I've never seen a bird tribal deck before this deck, so I was extremely happy with the different effects they have. Some ramps, such as Warden of Evos Island Stormscape Familiar, small creatures with awesome value. Other of these creatures remove opponents' threats, such as Keeper of the Nine Gales and Raven, two cards that excel at removing counters and forcing opponents to waste mana and replay cards. Glarecaster is an odd card with a very expensive ability. This not being unusual for birds is why they're on a tier 1 deck, but trust me, this is an ability that is relevant. When playing this deck, you often have a lot of extra mana to pump in a Kangee that can also be used in a Glarecaster to absolutely destroy opponent attacks. Of course, more efficient in mana, we play Lieutenant Kirtar, a Soul Snare type effect that simply discourages people from targeting us with attacks. We also play Nimble Obstructionist, an amazing value card that can become a blocker if things go south, an attacker of all as well, and a counter in any situation that replaces itself. But I like to imagine as Obstructionist's best friend is Aven Mind Sensor. This card shuts down a lot of tutoring, bringing more powerful decks of the table down a level, as these decks most of the time can't assemble the combo pieces they want. Some of the other things tacked into birds are card advantage and card selection. Crook Claw Elder and Teshar both replenish your hand, and Teshar rewards us from almost every mana rock we play. While the Elder rewards us for going wide, and I many a time kept my hand full with it in a board stall. In terms of card selection, Murder of Crows, Augury Owl, Sawtooth Loon, and Aven Fate Shaper are what I have chosen to run. In terms of the Fate Shaper, I had to make a decision regarding to play that card. The card is a 4/5 flyer for 7, which feels really bad. However, it lets us rearrange the top cards of our library repeatedly, which is very strong. What made me decide to run this card was the helpless feeling of having no cards in hand and all the mana in the world. To prevent that situation is why this is worth it. We also play a suite of creatures that go big and can win the game. These are Tine Strike, Commander Isha, Ishai Ojutai Dragon Speaker, and Windburst Raptor. Starting from the top, our birds can get enormous, and Tine Strike has been an unpredictable win condition on many occasions because of all the +1s. Ishai gets very large as people will never not play a spell because of 1/+1/+1 counter. Next on this list is Windburst Raptor, a card that is mind-bogglingly good in this deck. It gives all the birds that are amped up by our commander and getting huge lifelink, frequently causing us to gain a ton of life. One of the best cards to make large is our commander? No. Commander Isha, a creature with 2 relevant types and a very relevant ability, protection from creatures. This means it can't be blocked, targeted, or dealt damage by anything that is a creature, so essentially built it unblockable. This card gets gross in the deck quite often. One such buff that we have is the only we play in terms of creatures, Aven Brigadier. And I know what you've probably realized by this point. All these tribal cards so far have said all, meaning opposing birds get +1/+1. This is a concern, but not one founded upon legitimate circumstance of a game. If I'm boosting your creatures, why kill me? Why kill the creature giving yourself the boost? And that is all assuming that you face birds, a creature type with only 249 different cards, many of which are not the best. In comparison, there are 449 zombies prior to Modern Horizons, which looks great for EDH. I'll pause a video on Modern Horizons later. In terms of further interacting with our commander, we play Thrumming Bird to proliferate, and Aven Mimeomancer, as with removal that can host large Eldrazi Titans are further boosts to our commander's supply of feather counters. In case of any of these creatures die, we can recur them with Celestial Gatekeeper, all while creating counters on our Soul Catcher. But the value can't stop there. To finish off the birds, we run 2 not very flashy but very strong 5-drops. Cloak Savior and Wingmate Rock. These cards provide us with lots of value that keep us afloat and ahead in games. Do we play any non-bird creatures? Absolutely. Wingreader Sphinx is included for its impressive amount of card draw. And a Maria Angel for creating some birdies that become pretty big and scary. The final creature inclusion of the deck is Jotun Owlkeeper, which is included for the counter synergies within the deck as well as the extra mana that allows this creature to produce many tokens at the time of death. Speaking of tokens, Migratory Route. If all birds are controlled up with 3/3, a reasonable scenario for this deck, this card would be 16 power for the low cost of 5 mana. Birds, am I right? But look, I keep talking about all these tribal synergies, but I haven't shown you many yet. These synergies range from a board wipe, Harsh Mercy, to amazing card draw spells such as Airborne Aid and Distant Melody, to extremely important spells that keep our hand up in size. Also drawing cards to create a dual-purpose artifact is Vanquisher's Banner. This not only anthems our birds, but draws us cards to replace our spells. This thing is an absolute powerhouse. Other tribal artifacts and enchantments we play are Radiant Destiny, Coat of Arms, Soulcatcher's Aerie, which can combo quite well with Proliferate, Shared Triumph, Door of Destinies, and Obelisk Verd. These cards are the backbone of the deck as they allow us to achieve the large size of birds we want and need. We also play some flying tribal cards in this category as birds do tend to fly. These cards are Favorable Winds and Gravitational Shift, the latter being debatable, but the amount of value we're going to gain from this card being out and most of our deck flying outweighs what we will give any other opponents. Plus, it is really fun to just destroy Cranko players when they go to attacks. Of course, I'll still die to Perforos, but that's where our removal section comes in. To head out this removal is the classic Swords to Plowshares and Return to Dust, so that we can efficiently hit artifacts, enchantments, or creatures. To disrupt decks going off or trying to attack with a lot of creatures, we play Wing Shards, but Azorius Charm serves a similar purpose of removing attackers. Dismantling Blow is a fine removal card that can not only destroy artifacts/enchantments, but replace itself and draw you one more card. For other removal, we play 2 more board wipes. Supreme Verdict, an absolute bomb because of its uncounterability, and Fumigate, which can provide us with a lot of life gain in the right scenario. Moving on to more card draw, we play Bind of Thassa to reward us for going wide. Skull Clamp lets us turn creatures to cards, and Tezzeret's Gambit increases the amount all of our birds are boosted while doing one of the most important things a commander deck should do, getting cards in hand. In case we are very low on cards, Emergency Powers is an awesome way to get a new hand. Yet these non-land cards are not the only ones we have to draw. Commander's Fear and Mind Stone both replace themselves in ramp, and Azorius Locket even nets us a card. These 3 cards, for that reason, prove incredibly valuable and productive in both the early and late games. Speaking of valuable, Azorius Kirun ramps and then turns into a bird boosted by our tribal synergies that can attack and block surprisingly well. Soaring, Azorius Signet, and Gilded Lotus are our final 3 pieces of ramp, and these 3 are very effective. Our suite of ramp is also boosted by 2 lands, Myriad Landscape and Temple of the False God. In my experience, land ramp has proven sensational as it doesn't even cut into your typical 62 non-land cards in the deck. But before we dive into the other lands we play, we cannot forget the last 2 non-land cards, Inexorable Tide and Unbreakable Formation, 2 cards that can boost our creatures, and Unbreakable Formation can even protect them. Moving on, fully this time, to our land base, we don't play very many basic lands, only 17, because we can get more value out of them. Most of these 19 non-basic lands give us value for being 2-colored, but a select few do more. Some fetch lands, some gain us life, but others we can cycle, yet others set up our draw for next turn. And our final land slot, what else could we play but Seaside Haven? The land that gives us a card in response to removal, and a very rude card with Skull Clamp. Well, that's all for this deck. I hope I inspired you to build a tribal bird deck. The deck list is in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.